I have a real issue with the constant force, push, demand, call to focus on gratitude. Not because I don't think gratitude is great, but because I think what's happened is that we have, as a society, pushed so far into, well, we just need to be grateful. You need to be grateful for what you have. And gratitude expands what you have and will bring you more. And while I understand energetically, the energetics of gratitude is, it's an honoring, it's a recognition, it's a respect for what is already existing in your life. Yes, that is amazing. But here's where gratitude, I think, gets really fucked up.
Welcome to the Manifesting Millions podcast, where we talk about manifestation, money, and practical guidance to creating your dream reality. My name is Amy Van Meel, and I am an experienced coach and transformation guide, obsessed with helping you get out of your own way and create a life that blows your mind each day you wake up. My goal in this podcast is to share practical manifestation, self-awareness, and growth techniques in real talk conversations. So if you're ready to massively transform your reality, your finances, your relationships, and your overall enjoyment of life, you are in the right place. I am absolutely delighted that you're here with me today, babe. Let's get into it.
Hello, my love, and welcome back to the Manifesting Millions podcast. I wanted to just pop on before the actual episode opens up for you with a little caveat. I recorded today's episode when I was fresh out of bed. You will hear that I am quite stuffed up. I still am feeling some of the effects of the cold, but my speech is going to be a little slower. You'll hear some bigger pauses in between, and it might sound like I'm sort of drifting around. I promise you the episode has some real gold in it. In particular, the back half of the episode is absolutely fucking fantastic. There are two things that we're going to cover today. One is talking about having it all, and the other is talking about toxic gratitude. I'm going to let the recording go from here. Trust that you get what you need out of today's episode, and I would love to hear from you on the gram, on the TikToks, or drop me an email by connecting into my website and let me know what you thought. All right, let's roll the tape.
All right, my loves, welcome back to the podcast. This might be a bit of a choppy recording because I'm fresh out of bed, which is the prime time for my body to clear all the shit out of my lungs. So I'm sitting here looking out the window at the snow. It's currently the 2nd of April, so it's much later. Once you're finally hearing this episode, it's just so pretty. So yesterday I was doing some coursework, and one of the questions that was asked, or a series of questions that was asked, was talking about a fear or a limitation that was holding us back. Like, what's the biggest one? And I'm going to be very candid. I'm going to say this right off the front. Today's episode is going to be very, very, very honest. Not that I'm not always honest with you, but I don't always necessarily share everything. Because, I mean, come on, it's the public domain. But today I'm going to be sharing quite candidly with you. I want to preface this by saying this is not what I will be sharing isn't a mark of self-pity or of wanting you to feel sorry for me or any of those things. But I want to be extremely honest because I think it's important in order to get the point across for today's episode. So the limitation that I had written down was essentially that I want it all, but I don't know that I can have it. And more importantly, in order to have the fullness of my dreams, let me say this differently. I think I fucked it up. Okay. I can't have it all because in order to have the fullness of my dreams, I will have to let go of some parts of my life that I really love. So I think that's basically it. It'd be helpful if I went and looked at the sheet, but we're not going to do that today because I want to sit here in the midst of my humidifier, staring out the window at the snow falling. The point is, the limitation basically is centered around the idea that this story that we've been all told, every single one of us, and we get it told a lot. We've been told since we were kids, you can't have it all. And at the same time, manifestation teachers will say, well, of course you can have it all. You can have anything you want in life. Now, at some point in my journey as a business owner, I engaged in some learning with a company that I learned a lot from. But I've been in this place the last few years of really unpacking some of the shit that I picked up as part of it, some of the trauma that I experienced as a result of it and at the hands of the owner of the company. And it's really been coloring a lot of like how I see business and how I see just things going forward. So one of the big things that this person taught was something that they called a sacrifice plan. That every single goal in business, and we're making a new goal all the time, every single goal in business, they had us actually write down and sign and have someone else witness it for us, like a one-page contract of exactly what we were going to sacrifice until we got to our goal. And of course, we're encouraged to, it couldn't be something simple, like for example, let's say I was going for a business goal of, getting 10 new clients that month. I couldn't be like, well, I'm going to sacrifice eating chips for the next week, right? Like it had to be something, big, I guess. That's really stayed with me, and obviously became some sort of programming that in order to have what I want, I need to sacrifice. I need to give up. And sacrifice, I think I talk about this, maybe I wrote it in a book. I've actually written down the definition of sacrifice somewhere. It might be in the Wealthy as Fuck program, but sacrifice is essentially like permanently deleting something. Like when you think of a sacrificial lamb, that lamb isn't coming back. You're killing that lamb, right? So this is sitting in the background as I'm thinking about what I want to create. Then as I'm continuing on with the reflection questions for my coursework yesterday, my brain hinged on the first part of the limitation, that I can't have it all. And awareness started to open up because I'm like, well, what does having it all mean? And more specifically, what does having it all mean for me? Because I am not interested in, being a famous movie star and weighing 110 pounds and being a model and going on like vacations on yachts all around the globe. And pick whatever your version of having it all that we've been blitzed and glammed into believing is what having it all means. But that's not what I want. And I thought, okay, so thinking about travel, because then I'm like, but I do want to fly first class. Like that's been a long held dream of mine, long before I even had any idea of like markers of success. I was young when my family immigrated from the Netherlands before I was born. So when I was a child, we would go back to the home country every few years. So I was familiar with flying on planes before I was even like aware of what the world was about, right? I think I was first on a plane when I was possibly an infant. So I, from a very young age, could see the first class, business class cabin to the left when we would go on and turn to the right. And it had always been a dream of mine. I want to fly business class. I want to fly first class. And I mostly just call it first class because they keep changing all of the things. I get that. It's fine. So as I got to thinking about, okay, so what does having it all mean when I think about travel for me? What I realized is, well, I want to fly business class. I want to fly first class. But actually, I really love how we travel now. I would love the resources available to be able to, if we want to stay in a super fancy 5-star hotel or resort or something, or we want to do some amazing experiences along the way, I would love to have the financial resources for that to just be possible instead of, being limited to whatever we can afford, I suppose. It would be great to have that possible. But the truth is, when I started to think about, well, what does having it all mean to me? What it looks like to me is, well, I'd like to fly first class because that's honestly like kind of the hardest part of the trip, right? And it's the most uncomfortable. Like, come on, 8 hours in a slim seat. And I don't like to recline my seat because I just feel like that's rude to the people behind me, but the people in front of me don't necessarily know that. So I will, just as an aside, if someone in front of me reclines their seat, I'll recline my seat just to keep the same amount of distance because I also get a little claustrophobic. But I'm not comfortable, right? We're not having a great time. And when I think about flying, I'm like, well, okay, so the downside about flying first class is that I wouldn't get to hold my husband's hand the whole time. And I'd have to sort of holler across the aisle at him, right? Whereas if we fly economy or some version of economy, he's right there. But we would have, I think, better food, which would probably help both of us feel better. We have more space. We can lie down, which is fucking amazing when you're flying through the night. It's just a different experience. But once we arrive, one of our favorite things is just to be in the space. When we went to Greece a few years ago, we spent a half day in Italy, and we were there for such a short amount of time. We basically booked a hotel that was as close to right in the middle of everything as possible, which was perfect. So that we could just walk right out of our hotel, and we walked around Italy for hours and hours and hours. But one of the things that we did that was a luxury item to us, the hotel offered a car service to pick us up at the airport. Now that car service was €60, which translated to us in Canadian dollars for it's like 80, probably $90, maybe a little bit more than that, which is a lot for a 15-minute car ride. And we took one from the airport to the hotel, and then the following morning from the hotel to the airport. And both of us agreed was one of the best decisions that we could have made, because instead of trying to, and we like doing the word has failed me, like buses and transit. We like doing the local transit. We find that encouraging, and not encouraging, it's the wrong word. Adventurous, I suppose. I haven't had my coffee yet this morning, so work with me here, people. But we enjoy doing those kinds of things. The point is, we're coming in off of an overnight flight. We're already not going to be at our best. And then trying to navigate a completely foreign transit system. And from all of our research, it was showing that it wasn't going to be just get on a bus here, get off the bus here. It was going to be a whole bunch of changeovers and different kinds of transit. We just said, let's just get the car. And it was amazing. So we expedited our trip and then got to spend more time just adventuring around the city of Rome, right? But once we're there, same thing when we went to Greece. We had a taxi take us from the airport as close as you can get in Greece, to our Airbnb. But our Airbnb wasn't this super fancy thing. It was this gorgeous apartment because it had just been recently renovated, but it was in the heart of the old town By most people's measures, it probably wouldn't be like super luxurious, but to us, it was everything, and we loved it. And it allowed us to travel exactly how we want to, which is to embed ourselves into the local space, I guess, and just be able to walk out our front door and then go into, the town. And that was amazing. So as I'm sitting reflecting about this yesterday and going like, well, what does having it all mean for me? Well, for me, I want to fly first class, of course. And then actually once I'm there, and I don't even want to travel like multiple times a year. I mean, that sounds fucking exhausting to me. I know there are people who are like, let's go everywhere all the time. And I'm like, if we travel like outside of our country, because I mean, we travel to see our family within Canada, of course, but like to travel outside the country to go to Europe or something, if I do that like once a year or every 18 months, that's more than enough for me. I don't need to go a lot more. I don't think my husband needs to go a lot more, right? Things like that. We'd go on ski trips. We'd do things like that. But what became clear as I started to really figure out like, what does having it all mean to me was it isn't this over glamorized version that we've been led to believe is what having it all means. So I suppose part one of today is start considering what having it all means for you, especially when you're having that question of, well, why can't I have it all? Okay, now let me just jump ahead and get to why I'm sitting here recording this before I've even had a shower or coffee this morning. So this was yesterday's reflection. As I was getting ready to go to bed last night, I need to tell you a little bit of backstory for the rest of this to make sense. So I've been sick for more than a week now, and like really fucking sick. Like I had 3 days of a light fever, mild fever, I guess they call it, and chills and nausea. And then that gave way to a ferocious fucking cold. And I'm absolutely fucking over it. On top of that experience, it's been 3 weeks now that my right hip, which I fell down the stairs a few years ago and caused quite the injury, and every now and again, I guess something happens and the hip sort of slips back out of place again. And so it's painful, and I need to go to the chiropractor to get it pushed, like moved back into place. And I was getting it done until I got sick. So I had a week of, terrible pain and discomfort, not really being able to sleep because of the hip. Then we went skiing. Then I came home and got sick. Now I can't go to the chiropractor because I'm sick and, got to wait until I'm not contagious anymore, which I have marked on the calendar as Friday. And I have an appointment first thing Friday morning to see the chiropractor. So I am experiencing this awful cold and not sleeping well because of that. And then, of course, my hip is sore and it's like this constant ache. And then yesterday, one of my teeth was starting to hurt when I was chewing. And by the time I was nearing the end of the day, I was just starting to have a full, desire to have a little pity party. Actually, quite an epic pity party was what the desire was for, but I ended up not having a giant pity party. I was just fucking over it, okay? I was like, this is fucking enough. It's been 3 weeks of absolute fucking misery, and I'm tired of it, and I just want this to all go away. I want my body to feel better. I want to have my energy back. I'm tired of coughing. I'm tired of being sick. I'm tired of not sleeping well, and it all got spun up really when I went to go have, because of course my appetite's been down. I was feeling a little hungry, but didn't know what to eat. And I'm like, well, I'll just have some nuts and see how that settles. And I'd had maybe 4 or 5 nuts and I started to feel nauseous. And I'm like, I can't handle this anymore. It's an ongoing thing that I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Anyway, so my husband is exhausted from work because his work isn't going super great. And he heads off to bed, and I went also to go to bed, but first had myself a good cry, which, for those of you who've ever had like the good sob, when you're already all stuffed up, like that is like the worst, because then your nose is extra stuffed. And I was a little afraid when I'm trying to blow my nose and I'm going to just instead like push my brains out through my ears because there's so much pressure in my head. Anyway, so I went to bed just feeling quite sorry for myself. And at some point in the night, as I had rolled over, which tends to, not even rolled over because I can't sleep on my side or anything because of the hip, but had moved, which caused some coughing and of course wakes me up. This thought came back about, being afraid to let go of what's so good in my life now. And I realized that we've been here for probably like 20 minutes before I'm getting to this point, but say Livy. Anyway, with the clarity that comes from the middle of the night, I mean, come on, how many of us have had that? It's like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, that's a great idea. And then when you wake up in the morning, you're like, wait, maybe that's not such a great idea. Or you've just lost the nerve, right? I'm way braver, it seems, at 4 a.m. than I am when I get up at 9 a.m. With the clarity that comes in the middle of the night, what I realized was this question that sort of surfaced first thing in my brain was, what exactly am I holding on to? So let me expand that for you. I have a real issue with the constant force, push, demand, call to focus on gratitude. Not because I don't think gratitude is great, but because I think what's happened is that we have, as a society, pushed so far into, well, we just need to be grateful. You need to be grateful for what you have. And gratitude expands what you have and will bring you more. And while I understand energetically, the energetics of gratitude is, it's an honoring, it's a recognition, it's a respect for what is already existing in your life. Yes, that is amazing. But here's where gratitude, I think, gets really fucked up. How often have you had something isn't going great? You're unhappy about something. Whatever, it doesn't even matter what it is. And someone goes, okay, so let's focus on what you're grateful for. What's good in your life? What are you grateful for? And I had that experience recently where I was asking, as part of the coursework, from some of the instructors about, I can't remember, something was about abundance, I think. And they said, well, start with being grateful for what you already have, because probably you're not even like really noticing all that's in your life right now, which again, I got really annoyed by, because I'm like, I could sit here for hours and tell you all the amazing things in my life. Gratitude is not my problem. Honoring, respecting, celebrating, being aware of all the good in my life is not my problem. I guarantee it. The problem with gratitude is this. When we feel some kind of low vibe feeling, that is feedback for us saying that something isn't aligned with where we really want to be. What we don't want to do, obviously, is just like complain and bitch and moan, because that's not going to get us anywhere. We don't want to keep focusing on what's not working, because that's just going to keep generating more of what's not working. But the solution to that is also not just, well, okay, be grateful for what you have. You can have both. You can be grateful for all that is amazing in your life and feel unsatisfied, unhappy, frustrated, pick a low frequency emotion because it's not the fullness of what you want. So I'd been sitting in this limitation of, well, I can't have it all, because in order to have it all, I need to let go of all that's good and wonderful in my life, which of course by definition is not having it all, right? I understand that. But what came to mind was I'd been so focused, I suppose, on what was good and being afraid of what letting go was good, that I had lost sight of the fact that maybe it's not as good as I think. So this is where I'm going to color it in, and I want you to really hear the honesty and transparency in this, and like, and play with this to reflect in your own life to see how this applies. I have an amazing husband. No question about it. He's absolutely just one of the most amazing humans I've ever known. I love the crap out of him. He's just like my whole life, really. Every desire centers on how can I create abundance to such measure that I can just, have a fuller, more wonderful, more joyful life together with him. I have an amazing husband, but our relationship isn't exactly how I would desire it to be right now. He's burnt the fuck out from work. He's tired a lot. He's under a huge amount of stress, which means that he's been eating some high calorie foods, which has caused him to put on a little bit of weight, which is not me saying I don't think he's attractive. I still think he's super fucking sexy, but I worry for his health, right? That's what I worry about. So if I look at our relationship, there isn't time or space or energy for some of the passion that we have had in past. And I really miss that. Is the relationship solid? Absolutely. Am I super grateful for him? 100%. Could it be better? Actually, yeah. Then I think about, our home. It's a good example. I love our home. Our home is warm and welcoming and happy and joyful and bright and light. And it's all these amazing things. I love our home. I have a dream of building a home. I'm not in a rush to build that home. But when I start, again, being grateful for all that is here in the home that I already have, I'm like, yeah. And also, it drives me crazy that there are parts of our home that are still not finished. I fucking hate having to we have these 4 doors stacked up downstairs that need to go in various closets that just aren't getting done. And they won't get done anytime soon because, as I mentioned, my husband is stressed the fuck out and doesn't have any time or energy. And until, financial resources really grow, can't hire anybody to come do it. But it drives me crazy every fucking time. I don't like that my office is so small and it faces north. So whenever I work in my office, I am choosing basically to not work in sunshine because it doesn't get into my office. It just doesn't. It's a north-facing window. We live in the northern hemisphere, right? What's another good example? My health. Here's a great example. I keep going I want to be strong and healthy and fit. And then when I am strong and healthy and fit, I find myself fighting with this, I've picked up 5 pounds and 5 pounds heavier than I was before, or I'm, 8 pounds heavier than I'd like to be. And now my jeans don't fit as comfortably and they look great if I'm standing, but they're fucking garbage if I'm sitting. And oh, by the way, I just need to add this in on that. We've been watching the show High Potential, which I highly recommend. It's on Disney. Super love it. And there's a scene in there where Caitlin Olsen, who's the main character, is wearing these leather pants. And she's sitting down talking to a suspect, I think. And she says, sorry, I got to get up and walk around. These pants are not good for sitting more than 10 minutes or it cuts off all circulation to the lower part of my body. And I was like, oh my fucking God, thank you for saying that, because I fucking am tired of we see people in these amazing looking outfits and then I'm like, but how do you sit? How do you move? How do you fucking function? Anyway, so that's a little aside. So my health, well, currently, absolutely, my health could absolutely be better. Yes, 100%. But I want to be in the gym and moving my body more. I want to be hiking more. I want to be skiing more. I mean, fuck, I'm watching the snow fall going, wouldn't it be great if I can go skiing? The plan is to go on Friday, okay? So once I see the chiropractor, made the appointment first thing in the morning, and then I'm going to get back in the car and be like, I'm out of here, fuckers. I'm off to the ski hill because I've missed some serious skiing due to this fucking cold. The point is, as I was sort of those middle of the night awarenesses are so wonderful because they don't require you to like go deep. They just sort of hit with this amazing, striking clarity. And what I realized was, I'm like, oh my God, okay, I'm afraid of letting go of what's good and wonderful in my life. But actually, and here's the point, my life is good. It is good. Of course it is. I know it's good. But it has been, I suppose the word I want to use maybe is degrading a bit. I have everything I dreamed of having with my husband. We're married. That was a dream I had for a long fucking time. I feel so loved and incredibly supported and deeply attracted to him on all levels. And yet, it's not the fullness of the relationship that I dream of. I know that we are capable of a fuller, more passionate, more joyful, more connected relationship. And I get that like life ebbs and flows. And I think the ebbs are intentional to help us move into a flow. I don't think that we're meant to just sit here and be like, well, I'm grateful for, this and blah, 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 and just be like, well, maybe hopefully it'll get better. Fuck that shit. So here's what I was thinking of. Okay, look, what am I really afraid of losing? What am I really afraid of letting go? Well, in my brain, there's this belief that like, okay, so in order to sacrifice to have it all, I have to completely let go of my husband entirely. Like he just fucking disappears from my life, which is garbage. Actually, what if what's being asked to be let go of is hanging on to this state of existence that isn't fulfilling either one of us fully? Right? What if that's all that I'm letting go of? Well, then fuck, here, you can have it. Like, let's go. Let's make this better. Let's make this more enjoyable, more passionate, more, joyful. When I think about, okay, what am I afraid to let go of with my home? Like, am I afraid to let go of my home, or am I afraid to let go of the stuff that just fucking isn't working? Right? Am I afraid? Have I packaged this whole thing as like, oh my God, like I could be homeless? Or, hey, here's a thought. What if we live in the same home, only the home is done? All the projects are complete. It feels great. And oh, by the way, I'm now already building the financial container that's going to build our house one day. What if that is what I'm letting go of? This stasis that I've been kind of stuck in, I'm letting go of that. And instead, what I'm substituting in, what I'm allowing in, what I'm welcoming in, what I'm calling in is this greater experience of the home that we have now and also of the home that we will be having. And here's the problem when someone says to us, well, you need to be grateful for what you already have, is that I think we get ourselves lulled into the stasis of what is. We talk ourselves into the fact that the idea that, well, this must be pretty good. And the sub undertone to that is be grateful for what you have and stop asking for more. I mean, I think women in particular can see this more clearly because, I mean, fuck, how much have we been inundated, even just something as simple as a job? Well, you should be grateful that you have a job at all, right? Okay, so you're getting underpaid. You're getting paid less than every other less qualified male candidate around you, but you should be grateful that you have a job at all. Be grateful that you have somewhere that you can go to work. Be grateful that you're not getting abused at your work. Be grateful that you have the opportunity to work 60 hours a week. Be grateful that you get to stand in this space because we could have hired somebody else. It could have gone to somebody else. And that drumbeat of be grateful isn't about respect and honor and awareness. It is about submission. Is about letting go in the worst fucking way. It's not even letting go, it's giving up. That's when I see this constant, and I understand that, lots of coaches and manifestation teachers and stuff aren't meaning it in that way. But here's what happens with any particular message that comes out over and over and over and over and over again. That's what starts to come through. Let me ask you if this resonates. How often when you were a kid were you told that you needed to finish all the food on your plate because there were starving children in Africa who would love to have what you have available for you? Right? I mean, fuck. The amount of times. And I can see it. Oh my God. I literally, when I hear that phrase, I am right back in the chair, in our eating area, on the farm where I grew up, with the plate of Brussels sprouts in front of me. And I remember even when I was young going, well, can I send these to the kids in Africa? Because listen, I'm not selfish. I don't need to keep them for me. I will very happily give what I have available to me so that someone else can be healthy and nourished. I don't want them. Please send them to those kids in Africa. Those poor kids need food, right? But it's this idea of you're a greedy, ungrateful, piece of shit because you want more. Well, of fucking course we want more. That's the whole kind of point of the human experience. We didn't come here for some half-assed kind of experience of life and all the way through going, well, this isn't great, but I'm really grateful for what I have. Fuck that shit. Honor, respect, and be aware of what is in your life. Yes. And I think that's really the heart of gratitude. Gratitude is this easy word that gets tossed around a lot. But instead of, are you honoring a relationship with your spouse if you are insisting on staying locked into a slowly degrading state of being? Are you honoring and respecting the container of your body? If you just keep telling yourself, I'm so grateful for the food that I can afford, but meanwhile, that food is making you feel sick, it's causing you to put on weight, it's causing your body to just feel all kinds of unhealthy and sluggish, but it's what you can afford. Well, I'm grateful that I can afford this at least. Is that honoring and respecting your body? Are you honoring and respecting and being aware of the natural sense of growth from inside of you when you insist on keeping yourself in lockstep with the current experience of reality because you keep going, well, I have to be grateful for what I have? I don't think that that's honoring or respecting or being aware of at all. I think that is a insidious kind of way of submission. And I'm never here about saying we should submit to something. Fuck that shit. It's not what we're here for. And it's absolutely not the work that I'm here for. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Trust that you got everything that you needed from today's episode. I'm going to make my bed, go have a shower, and I need to eat something because I'm hungry. Heads up, if you aren't already on my Insights email list, I would encourage you to get on the list. The emails are getting better. I feel like that needs to be said. It's my intent this year to really honor that space and instead of holding myself to a specific schedule, like it has to be on Mondays or whatever, you'll see emails flowing through. And they're flowing through from what's present and emerging for me at the moment. So it means that the emails are always really good. Also, inside those emails, you'll get often the first notice of something new that I'm offering out. So to get on the email insights list, the link is in the show notes, but go to amyvanmeel.com/insights. I don't send a whole bunch of spam. I don't drop a whole bunch of sales emails. But I do want to let you know on occasion when something's happening. So in that exact vein, I think I promised this a couple episodes ago, but I've got 2 super simple landing pages set up for you to book some coaching with me for the month of April, which I realize the time this is coming out, it's probably going to be coming to a close very soon, unless I change the podcast schedule, which I might. For the month of April, I'm offering single one-on-one coaching sessions from as little as $75. So a 90-minute one-on-one session with me is usually $333. And you can pay $333 if you want to. The way the portal is set up, it will allow you to pay more than $75 if you feel so led and aligned. But you can also simply book 90 minutes with me for $75 Canadian, which is a huge value. So if you have a work challenge, you have your own kind of, coursework or awareness that you're working through. I work with people I have a mom right now that is struggling in her job and trying to figure out what's her next step going to be, right? There's lots of things that we can work through. So if you want to book the 90 minutes, now is the time. Of course, you can book it anytime afterwards. But if you want to get that $75 offer, it's available now. To get that, it's amyvanmeel.com/coaching, I believe. And I also have properly put together the, again, super simple. I think the mantra for my business is really just returning back to super fucking simple. You'll know if you want to coach with me or not. I don't need to give you a whole giant sales page on it. So I have spots available for my 3-month intensive mentoring container. Very quick what that looks like. It is 3 months of us working together one-on-one. You get 11 coaching sessions. And basically the way I structure that is we have 9 specifically scheduled and then 2 that you can flex. So sometimes something's emergent and you need to have a session, right away. But I also want to intentionally have some time between sessions that you can really practice and embody what we work on together in our time together. You also get WhatsApp support from me, so text, video, audio via WhatsApp Monday to Friday during business hours, which is super helpful for when you're working through something, or if you want just, let's say, for example, that you're coming into the next level container, getting ready for a promotion, and we've had our coaching session and you're all ready, but now it's the day of the interview, or it's right before your interview or right after, and you're like, okay, what do I say here? How do I approach this? That kind of thing. That extra support can be super helpful. So to get into that container, go to amyvanmeel.com/next level, all one word. And I look forward to welcoming you in there. It's on my heart really to move deeper into coaching this year. So let's get on it. With that, my love, I wish you an amazing day ahead, and drop a DM on the Instagram if there's something that resonated with you in today's podcast. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. If you loved what you heard today, be sure to share it with me by leaving a review on your favorite podcast platform and help me reach more like-minded people who are ready to expand their life. If you haven't yet followed me on social media, find me on Instagram for extra love and inspiration by following @AmyVanMeel or visit my website at amyvanmeel.com. I love you so much, babe, and I am damn proud of you. I am already excited to connect in the next episode. And in the meantime, believe in yourself with the confidence of a 5-year-old.